Fans have compared the Iowa antique business owned by American pickers star Frank Fritz to a hoarder's paradise because it is overflowing with rubbish. Although Frank, 59, is the owner of the antique shop Frank Fritz Finds in Savannah, Illinois, which is located roughly 3 hours west of Chicago, he has been concentrating on getting better after suffering a stroke in July 2022. The U.S. Sun has access to unique images of the store's state, including pictures of trash all over the place. There was no price tag or vintage description on certain wood pieces that were stacked together in one of the photos. In another, a corner displayed a basket full of leftover wood. Even random metal fragments, devoid of any label or cost, were piled up against the wall. Another image showed an almost empty display case filled with old-fashioned soda cans, one of which was a contemporary Coca-Cola can that was probably garbage that a consumer had left behind. Before, the U.S. Sun published a story about the damaged merchandise at Frank's store. Drumsticks autographed by the Mickey Utley Band were included in one option. The product was broken out of the glass display. Another image showed a vintage mannequin draped in spider webs. There were even more cobwebs along the windowsill, as evidenced by the enormous spider that was visible in the picture. Views from clients. Consumers who are unhappy with the antique shop have left reviews about the establishment. Nice people, but honestly, it was almost like seeing things that were left in an attic, a client commented. I wouldn't choose to explore the area around it first. Another said, I was a big fan of the show. I dropped by to see what all the excitement was about and to offer Frank some encouragement. The area had the appearance of a hoarder's episode. The store is truly full of hoarder's junk, voiced a third complaint. I was not impressed by Frank's finds, even though I was looking forward to it. This store sells ancient oil cans signed by Frank for between $55 and $110 each, along with expensive rubbish. I'll get by. Another person commented, saying, don't waste your time, old stuff that is overly overpriced and should have been dumped a long time ago. We were expecting Frank would open something nicer that would be worth seeing because this restaurant is dingy and not worth the travel. Because work is being done on the upstairs property, the building's exterior is likewise in disarray. Friend rivalry. Unlike Frank's shop, his former co-star Mike Wolf's antique store in Iowa is always packed with people, according to a previous story published in the U.S. Sun. Mike always has customers coming in and out of his store, a customer told the U.S. Sun. A large number of fans check out the selections featured on the show and purchase merchandise. Customers may be seen looking at antiques and standing in queue to buy them in pictures that the U.S. Sun was able to obtain. There isn't a single customer in the pictures of Frank's store, which is housed in 2 rear rooms of a bar restaurant. According to the source, customers occasionally peruse Frank's store. Not nearly as busy as Mike's, though. Yearly sales. The yearly sales of both locations were previously covered by the U.S. Sun as well. According to Experian's business valuation report for Frank Fritz Finds, the company's expected yearly revenues are $25,000. The company is classified as medium risk with a business credit score of 27. The shop was rated as medium high risk, 4 out of 5, by the Financial Stability Risk Ratings. This indicates a 10% potential risk of severe financial distress within the next 12 months, according to the research. Experian's business valuation report, Antique Archaeology Iowa is expected to generate $62,000 in sales annually. With a business credit score of 23, the company is classified as medium-high risk. This score predicts the likelihood of serious credit delinquencies within the next 12 months, the report states in reference to the score. Antique Archaeology was rated as having a medium risk, out of 5, according to the Financial Stability Risk Ratings. This rating predicts the likelihood of payment default and/or bankruptcy within the next 12 months, according to the report. The Conservatorship of Frank. Frank suffered a stroke in July 2022, which has prevented him from being as involved in the company. On August 18, his close friends filed for the star's emergency appointment of a temporary conservator and guardian, stating that his capacity to make decisions is so impaired. The U.S. Sun was able to obtain conservatorship paperwork that disclosed intentions to renovate the business. The conservator Midwest One Bank filed an initial plan that stated, Mr. Fritz is a well-known collector with numerous outbuildings full of valuable collections. The conservator intends to keep things mostly as they are, with the exception of stocking Mr. Fritz's antique store in Savannah, Illinois as needed. The conservator has not yet inventoried those goods. The conservator hopes that Frank will be allowed to continue choosing and setting the price of the things, as he did in the past. Frank was left paralyzed following the stroke, but he is now able to walk again, according to a source who previously spoke to the U.S. Sun. Drama show. The last time Frank appeared on American Pickers was in an episode from March 2020. He took time off to recuperate from a back surgery that resulted in 2 rods in his spine and 185 stitches. In 2021, Mike declared that Frank was leaving the show. In a 2021 interview, Frank disclosed his conflict with Mike to the U.S. Sun. After getting back together during Memorial Day weekend, the two are still friends. The U.S. Sun was informed by a source that everything between them is fine. They have 40 years of mutual acquaintance. They completed high school together and have all of these experiences. The insider claimed that although Frank and Mike are still in contact, Mike has only paid him a few visits since his stroke.